And welcome back, everyone, to the next part of What If Joey Was a Red-Eyes Player. Now, we are in the Waking the Dragon arc, but there is only really one duel that we're going to be covering in the Waking the Dragon arc. Previously on Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually, if I were to do it the proper way, it would be that previously on Yu-Gi-Oh! But we did not cover the first Mai duel, we did not cover the Rex Raptor duel, and we did not cover the Valen duel. I went over in the last video why we did not cover those. I went over what happened there, but we didn't actually do those duels. Real quick, we didn't go over the Mai and Joey first duel due to the fact that that duel was interrupted to begin with. Add on to the fact that Joey was not playing at his best, so not only would I have had to have been playing with a completely different deck, I would have had to have been playing like Joey didn't want to win, like Joey, for a good portion of time. So that would prove to be a little difficult. But beyond that, the whole point of that duel was to actually set up this episode. The only duel I actually technically covered was the Rex Raptor and Joey duel, and I pretty much went over the fact that, oh no, by the way the draw happened, Joey won within like 3 turns. So that would have been a nothing of an episode. I had initially considered going over the Valen Joey duel, but again, there's a story from the way the story of the Waking the Dragons arc goes on, the Joey's duel with him, what it ultimately is coming down to. I actually decided just to skip that and just say Joey still won the duel. Now, the reason for this is honestly very simple. It's due to the fact that, again, this is the real point of Joey in this arc. It's him and Mai's storyline. How Mai is lost and how Joey's trying to save her. Valen was a side portion of that. He did play his part because he's the one who technically brought her in. But she ultimately is, it's Joey who has to bring her back. Her relationship, or lack thereof as it stands right now, with Joey and the gang is really kind of the crux of her story arc. And Joey trying to bring her back is the crux of his story arc. So I felt it appropriate to skip the first Mai Joey duel, completely bypass Rex and Joey, and even skip the Valen Joey duel. But we're here now. Joey is just finished dueling Valen. Now I'll say this too: he runs a different deck. Because of the way his deck works, and because of the way Valen plays, Joey could have hypothetically won within like 1 turn. Because Valen basically just says, I don't believe in defense, I just do attack. And he's completely defenseless after he attacks on the second turn. So all Joey has to do is have the right cards in his hand, have Red Eyes Fusion, say, okay, here's my Red Eyes Supreme Dragon with 4,000 attack points. Have a good night. So there you go. But however when he won, Joey is tired, but I don't think he's anywhere near death's door in this version as he is in the original. So, Mai shows up, berates Valen, and is challenging, once again, trying to challenge Joey to a duel. Joey is her white whale for some reason. For some reason, even though she did say she was going to challenge Yugi and all that, Joey, for some reason, is her white whale. And I think it has to do with the fact that, of all of them, he's the one who beat her in Duelist Kingdom. Although, Yugi did too, but he beat her before the finals. Not to mention the fact that Joey has always liked him, not like kind of crush him, although he might, we don't know. Their relationship seems to be a bit more closer than hers with the others. I don't think Joey made it his mission to save her from the Shadow Realm, all that. So, yeah, ultimately, yeah, for some reason she fixated on Joey. Then she sees Valen is passed out. Ultimately, Joey has to make the decision to duel her. He's like, I'm going to get through to you, Mai, one way or another, win or lose. Now, this is a big thing. I watched TCG Anime's coverage of this fight to remember how the fight broke down, who was drawing what, so forth and so on, particularly Mai. But he does mention that Joey isn't necessarily trying to win in that fight. And he does say that he disagrees. He does say, Joey does say that he's going to try to get through to Mai and understand how she feels, then maybe she'll understand how he feels. That's not to say, though, Joey wasn't trying to win. He just wasn't going all out, per se. He was still trying to go as easy as he could while still trying to win. This was not Joey playing passively, playing defensively. This was Joey definitely giving it his all, based on what he had. But again, winning, I think he was trying to win, but I think that was second to trying to get through to Mai. I think that's the big thing here. There was the attempt at winning. It just was his second priority over saving Mai. So the duel begins. Now the duel begins between Joey and Mai. Now Mai did go first. In her opening hand, I'm not really going to go over the cards in her opening hand. She did have 2 copies of Cyber Harpy. She had something called, I believe it was, I wrote it down here, Arrow Nails, which is an equipped spell that can be equipped on a Harpy Lady. And she had that Nightmare Mirror card, which is what she used to make all the duplicate tokens of Harpy's Lady. But yeah, her opening hand would still, or her opening move would still be her summoning her Cyber Harpy. And that's the end of that. Then we move into Joey's turn. His opening hand consists of Rocket Warrior, Polymerization, there it is, Polymerization, Fairy Box, Scapegoat, there's Scapegoat. He also has Kunai with Chain, and last but not least, on his draw, he draws Red Eyes, Transmigration. Not a bad opening hand, all things considered. So Joey starts off by playing his Rocket Warrior in attack mode. Makes sense. Rocket Warrior, it's technically he doesn't take battle damage with Rocket Warrior, although that might just be while he's attacking. So who knows on that? But there we go. Then he's going to set Fairy Box, his Kunai with Chain, and he's going to end his turn. And I'll just shrink these down for right now. They're going to get a little smaller for the time being. And so Joey ends his turn. These cards are currently on the field. So Mai goes. She summons her another Cyber Harpy. She equips one of them with the what was it, Arrow Nail equip spell. This gives the Cyber Harpy an extra 300 attack points. And if that Cyber Harpy dies with that card equipped to it, that card transfers over to another Cyber Harpy. She mocks Joey a little bit for saying, you left your Rocket Warrior wide open. And say, yeah, but you're not going to be able to do any damage, Mai. Maybe not to that thing, but for your life points, sure. And so she has 2 crit monsters. She knows he doesn't really run anything like Mirror Force per se, so she's not really worried about having both of her Harpies wiped out. So if one gets taken down, she can still attack with the other and get her. I keep forgetting the name. I have it written down here. Every time I go like a Arrow Nails and get her Arrow Nails spell back when that card is destroyed. So she attacks with the bigger of the 2 Harpies. However, Joey, having cards available here, activates his Kunai with Chain. Kunai with Chain! I'm going to switch your Harpy Lady to defense mode, Mai, and I'm going to equip this onto my Rocket Warrior to give him an extra 500 attack points. Mai ends her turn by summoning the Nightmare Mirror card. I can't remember the name of the card. It was like Nightmare Mirror. Yeah, Nightmare Mirror, where it basically mirrors the amount of cards when they're summoned or something like that. Basically, every time he played Scapegoat, the 2 times he played it, she summoned more Harpy tokens. So there's that. Now it's Joey's turn, and he draws. He draws Lord of the D. Decent card. He can't really do anything at the moment, but he decides, all right, I'm gonna attack you. I'm gonna attack the Harpy. You have an attack mode. You left an attack mode, and he attacks, and it loses 200 life points. So Mai has to end her turn. Mai then draws, and she gets the Seal of Orichalcos, which, as we all know, is a field spell that gives all her monsters 500 attack points. She can have monsters in her back row. They're all become Dark-type monsters. It can't be destroyed by card effect. And the loser of the duel now lose their souls. Like, Mai, and Joey's like, Mai, please. It's like, yeah, you want my best, Joey. You're going to get it. I summon another Cyber Harpy. And so she summons another Cyber Harpy. And Cyber Harpy goes in to attack Rocket Warrior. By the way, both Cyber Harpies would be at 2,300 for the non-equipped one and 2,600 for the equipped one. The equipped one attacks. Unfortunately, Joey also has another trap available, and that would be Fairy Box. Now, for those of you who are unaware what Fairy Box does, it's actually very simple. It's actually in the real world. I watch there is Yu-Gi-Oh players. What are their names? I highly recommend them. They are so much fun to watch. Head-to-head battle on YouTube. They are so much fun. Susu and Jet. I love watching those guys. And Susu played Fairy Box in a couple of his Joey runs. Fairy Box, anyone who's ever played Fairy Box actually knows this. Fairy Box is legitimately a busted card. It is so simplistic. But what it does is when a monster attacks, you flip a coin. And if you call it heads or tails and you call it right, that monster's attack becomes 0. It does not stop the attack, though, so that means a 0 attack monster is swinging into your monster, and they're losing life points. And all it costs is a 500 point upkeep, which if you're activating this at the beginning of the turn, or sorry, at the beginning of the duel, and if for some reason you have some life point gain later on, this thing, it can be a menace on the field. 100% it can be a menace. So Joey activates it, and this was basically 1 or 2. This is basically, I put the number randomizer on. I said, okay, Joey's going to choose 1 this turn. And wouldn't you know it, Joey, with the luck that could outrun the devil, got it. And so her Cyber Harpy went down to 0. It crashed against a 2,000 attack point Rocket Warrior, and she lost 2,000 attack points. Now, her arrow nails do go to the other Cyber Harpy, which gets 300 attack points, putting it at the same attack power. However, mine now has to be like, no, because mine only has 1,800 attack points now. So she cannot be making such rash decisions. So she decides to end her turn. This is Joey's turn. He pays 500. Well, technically you do it after the draw, but he's going to pay the 500 to keep Fairy Box on the field. His draw is Red Eyes. That's the wrong card, but spoilers for the next one. There it is. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, a card I've added to the deck. So Joey, now being a bit more offensive, summons Laura D. It's the anime, so you can do the face-up defense summons. Summons Laura D in defense mode, and he ends his turn. He can't bring out the Red Eyes Darkness right now. Red Eyes Darkness Metal has 2 different summonings. One, you can just hard summon it, sacrifice 2 creatures, easy. That's not the way you want to play this card, though, because it can be special summoned by removing or banishing, in Yu-Gi-Oh's case, a dragon monster from the field, and you can special summon it. This is important because it has another ability which lets you special summon any dragon from your grave each turn, or each of your turns. Any dragon, as long as there's not like some sort of summoning restriction on said dragon. Yeah. This card has seen legit play too. Like first off, it's a great card. I love the card. I've played it before multiple times myself in the video games, like Dual Legacy of the Duels and stuff. Anyway, Joey ends his turn because he would probably set he probably set Scapegoat. So Scapegoat is set. Scapegoat is set. And he ends his turn. My draws and her, if I remember correctly, the card she drew here actually was a blank. Like, it really didn't matter in terms of what it was. But she does decide to attack. And with 1,800 life points left, she does decide to attack. And she decides to attack Lord of D. She knows that this is going to be a problematic card later down the line. And the fact that its defense is, I believe, 11, means that even if she loses life, she'll still have some life left. And his Rocket Warrior can't get over her Harpy. It can lower its attack for a little bit, but the Lord of D is not going to be able to get over it. And so she attacks. He activates the effective Fairy Box. Joey did not, however, get the effective Fairy Box on this attack. So Lord D had to go bye-bye. Let's say she hypothetically sets a card and ends her turn. Now, this is ultimately, as you just saw, where the duel actually came to an end when I was dealing this out, because Joey draws, and he draws Black Metal Dragon. Now, if you remember what I said and remember her life points, just to recap, Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon can be special summoned by banishing a dragon monster on your field. She only has 1800 attack, or 1800 defense. Life points! 1800 life points! Wow, she only has that much life points left. She only has 1800 life points left. And so, Joey looks at this and knows he can win right now. But does he want to do that? Does he really? He approaches my one last time. And he asks and I can't remember a lot of how their duel, like their conversation went. Some of it's been going the same, some of it's probably different. But it all comes down to, he asks what do you really want in life? You want to be the best. What's the best if you got no one to share that victory with? I want to be the best so I can share, not just for myself, but for my friends, so I can share that with them. Share with you, Mai. That's what having friends is all about. Someone to be there for you beyond when you win by yourself. Not just being by yourself. And Mai does hear that. It's like, what do you know? You've always had friends. I've always been alone. You've always been alone, but that doesn't mean you have to be alone. Just because you have met us, we're your friends. Slowly but surely, she is starting to kind of come around a little bit, and Joey kind of tries to bring it home with one last question. It's like, let me ask you, Mai, if you really want my best, how would you feel if you lost right now, Mai? Do you really want my best, or do you want me to just hold back so you can win? And what's the point of me doing that? If you win with me holding back, it's just going to be a hollow win, which is something, again, TCG Anime brought up, which is actually a really good point. Joey's on death's door. He's even not making good plays at the moment. Recap at the very beginning of the duel. He had summoned Blue Flame Swordsman in the original duel. Could have swung in on a Cyber Harpy, special summoned the Flame Swordsman, and hit her for a direct 1800. Based on how the rest of that duel went, he very much could have easily won that duel, actually. Based on how the rest of that duel ultimately played out, he could have easily won that duel. At least I believe Joey could have easily won that duel, but at least from my perspective on it. So, yeah, and she just looks at him. It's like, you really want to win that way? And she's finally like, no. And she finally kind of, she's not fully back, but she finally does have that realization. Like, no, if I want to win, I want to beat you at your best. Beating you when you're not at your best doesn't prove anything. Just like before, right? Because if you'd won, it would have proved I wasn't dueling you at my best. So fine, you want my best. And Joey, unfortunately, kind of gets a little sullen. And he goes, you want my best, Mai? Then I'm going to give you my best. And he just says one thing, I promise, when it's all over, we're going to beat Dots and save you. And it's just, she kind of goes, wait, what? It's like, I'm going to sacrifice my Black Metal Dragon I'm going to summon Black Metal Dragon to the field. Then I'm going to sacrifice it, or remove it from play, banish it, to special summon my Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. And it's like, her eyes kind of go wide. And she realizes, I only got 1,800 life points left. That thing could get over my Harpy. And she realizes this whole time, he was just drawing out because he just wanted to understand her, where she came from, and wanted her to understand him and why the path she chose isn't right. It was the wrong path. But it doesn't matter because he's going to be there for her. He's going to save her just like before. And no matter what happens, he's always going to be there because he's her friend. And possibly more fanfic shippers. Rachel fanfic here. But and he just does the attack, destroys her Harpy. And Joey does kind of get, again, sullen. He's actually even got tears in his eyes. Like, he doesn't want to do it, but he knows he doesn't have a way to end this duel, unfortunately. So, otherwise, because that's the thing. Joey knew in the first duel, if the duel could end in a draw, then he would save Mai. But the problem ultimately came down to the fact that he really didn't have any card, as far as I know, that could do that. He didn't have a Ring of Destruction or something like that. And so he just kind of goes, and Mai just kind of actually smiles and kind of lowers her hands. It's like, thank you, Joey. I was like, nah. And she finally, but she could see his hesitation, and she kind of goes, well, what are you waiting for? Our true duelist never hesitates, never backs down. Isn't that right, Joey? And he can see the resolute. She's resolved herself. She has resolved herself to the fact she lost this duel, and she lost it fair and square. And it's like, he's about to exit. One last thing, Joey. When this is over and you save me again, let's have a proper duel this time. No orichalcos, no nothing. Just you and me. And Joey does smile at that. He's like, you better believe it. I'm Rocket Warrior! And then he just comes, attacks her, and then she loses. Joey does manage to win here. And the Seal of Orichalcos starts to approach on her, and she's completely resigned to it. She just smiles like, Joey, thank you. And she loses her soul, and Joey catches her body, and he kind of just holds her. He's like, I'm sorry, man. I promise we're gonna get you back. But unfortunately, he just, oh crap. And Joey's not on death's door, but he is a little white. In fact, he's beyond white. He's not quite coma, but he can't duel anymore. He's done for the day. You are done for the day, sir. So when the gang finally shows up, they get Joey, and they find Yugi on the about to duel Raphael. It's like, Yugi. And it's like, Joey, it's okay, Joey. We'll take it. No, Yugi, it's all right. I'm not going to be able to help you out. I'm too exhausted. Here, take this. And this is how Joey passes on Hermos to Yugi in this version. It's not through Mai failing to be able to beat Raphael. It's the fact that Joey was able to beat Mai, but he's too exhausted to win. Or too exhausted to keep fighting. And so he gives Hermos to Yugi, and so Yugi has his duel, all that. Yugi and Kaiba have their duel with darts. Goes about as well as you might think. And yeah, and then the three dragons dissipate, and the day is shaved. Now, we only have 2 episodes left of this. I might even cover 2 duels in the next one to do the very special end of the series duel after that. But we only have 2 episodes after this. This next one will deal with the, I believe it's the Grand Tournament arc. So we'll be dealing with this duel with Siegfried. I'm kind of hoping he'll win, but remember, I randomize his deck every time. So he may just straight out lose to Siegfried in this. He may win. If he wins, I'm hoping for good stuff later down the road. But regardless, even if he loses, I got one last video planned for the Joey arc. But until then, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one, folks.